Hi and welcome. Welcome to this English lesson about rooms and furniture. As you know, this will be more than just a vocabulary lesson. Even though I will go through all the different rooms of the house during the lesson. Not literally, by the way. I'm just going to be sitting right here. But I will do a little lesson. I will talk about each room. I will talk about the furniture in the room. I will talk about some of the things we do in that room as well, so that you know the phrases and English language that you would use if you are in that room in the house. So today we're going to talk about rooms in the house. If you have questions during this lesson, please use the form that Dave and Todd will be linking in the chat, and I will try to answer as many of those questions as possible. I want to start by saying thank you to everyone who is here. You guys are awesome. Some of you have been here now for over a year, or maybe even longer. That is just amazing. So thank you so much for being here. So today we're going to talk about... Sounds like my audio is good. If you have questions during this lesson... I think things are good. I just had an error show up on my screen. Let's see if that affects things. But let's go through the house. So interestingly enough, when you first walk into a house in Canada or in the United States, the first place you walk into is the entranceway, or the front entrance, or the front entry, or the front entranceway, or the foyer, or the foyer. Okay, I just said a whole bunch of different words there, but yes, the front entrance to the house has many names. I would say entranceway, or front entrance, or foyer if you're in the United States, or foyer depending on where you are. But probably the safest thing to say is entranceway. One of the things that you find in an entranceway in most houses, I don't know why I'm laughing, sorry about that. The front end is a closet. So this is actually the front door of a house. We're standing inside the house in this picture. And this right here is a closet. So you would, when you come into the front entrance of a house, you would put your shoes and coat into the closet. You would hang up your coat. You would take off your shoes and you would normally put them in this closet if it's your house. If you are visiting someone, they would probably say, "Can I take your coat?" And they would put it in the closet for you. Or they would say, "Oh, you can just hang your coat up in the closet." So in the front entrance, or entranceway, or front entranceway, or the entrance, or the foyer, sorry, there's so many names, you would normally find a closet and not a whole lot else. You might find a doormat that you can wipe your shoes on, possibly as well. You would also sometimes in the front entranceway find a coat rack, which looks like this, or you might find just some hooks on the wall. Both of these would be other places where you could hang up your coat. We don't have a coat rack in our front entrance, and we don't have hooks, but we feel like we should have hooks. Hooks are handy because you can just quickly hang your coat up, or you can put your car keys on the hooks as well. I'd be curious to know how many of you have the same kinds of things in the entranceways to your houses. But definitely you would find a coat rack or a set of hooks in most houses in Canada. Next to the entrance, you usually find a hall or hallway. I don't know why we have two names for this, but a hallway is simply a place that connects you to other places in the house. So normally you don't do a whole lot of living in the hallway. You usually only walk through a hallway. But in my house as well, after you come in the front entrance, you go into a short hallway in order to get to some of the other rooms in the house. And hallways don't usually have a lot of furniture in them because you like to keep them clean and as empty as possible so that they're easy to walk through. But some hallways will have a hallway table. So this is a very narrow table that you would find in a hallway, okay? So by narrow, I mean it's like very narrow because we don't want this we don't want this to get in the way when people walk down the hallway. So usually the only thing that you do in a hallway is you walk through a hallway. Sometimes on the floor of a hallway, we have a small piece of carpet called a runner, but generally hallways are fairly empty. The only other thing I forgot to mention is sometimes near the entranceway of a house, you'll also have a mirror on the wall, because sometimes it's nice to check your hair before you go outside that day. Probably the most familiar room to most of you. I know most of you probably already know all your rooms in a house, but this is a good review, and I'm going to give you some phrases as well. But this is probably the most recognizable room in the house. This is the kitchen. This is where you prepare food. This is where you cook food. This is where you bake. This is where, oftentimes in some houses, this is where you eat. Sometimes a kitchen will also have a kitchen table in it, but the kitchen is usually one of the central rooms in most homes, okay? In our house, the kitchen is where my family probably spends the most time, other than maybe the living room. So anyways, let's talk about the kitchen. If there is a table in the kitchen, it is probably called a kitchen table. So we sit around the kitchen table when we have supper. Sometimes when people visit, we actually sit around the kitchen table and have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. But a kitchen table is kind of usually a fairly large table, and the size is usually equal to the number of people in the family. So if you have a small amount of people in the house or apartment, you would have a small kitchen table. And if you're like us, you have a gigantic kitchen table. By the way, if you watch the video, My Daily Routine number 2 by Bob the Canadian, you'll see my kitchen table. And kitchen tables usually have leaves that go in them. So our kitchen table, you can actually pull apart and then you put another piece in. So you can make it bigger and you can make it smaller. So kitchen table. And the chairs in a kitchen, we call kitchen chairs. They usually look something like this in North America. Thanks Andre 10 for joining and becoming a member of the channel. That is awesome of you. I do want to say thank you to all the people who support me by being members of my channel. If you are interested in that, there is a join button below. Kitchen chairs in Canada, and I think in the United States, often look like this. In fact, if you want to see something funny, I usually sit on the kitchen chair when I'm doing my lesson. It's not super comfortable. I should probably sit in a more comfortable chair, but I like to sit in a kitchen chair when I am teaching these English lessons. And then the other thing in a kitchen is you will find the counter or the countertop. We use both words in our house. So we say, just put the groceries on the counter, or put the groceries on the countertop. Or I just need to clean off the counter because I need to prepare some food. Or I just need to clean off the countertop because I need to make some breakfast or prepare some food. So counter or countertop, both work. I'm going to jump over to the questions. There's already a lot, I know. First question is from Deekshant. Deekshant says, hi Deekshant, by the way, hope you're doing well today. Can you make some basic furniture items? Do you like woodworking? So I have done some woodworking when I was really, really young. I haven't done a lot of woodworking lately. Actually, in high school in Canada, you could take a class called Shop, where you learn how to make some small furniture items. But actually, we have a couple items here that Jen made. Jen actually was in a woodworking club once, and she made a rocking chair, which I think Vitaly is asking about, and she made a bench. So let me just get this here. Vitaly Smirnov says, hello, Teacher Bob. How are you and your family doing? Do you have a rocking chair? If you do, why don't you change your seat for this lesson and be like Sherlock and sit and smoke a pipe and teach English? Is that what I should do? Yes, we do have a rocking chair. We got a rocking chair because Jen didn't make the rocking chair. Jen finished the rocking chair. So we bought it assembled and she put the stain on the rocking chair. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan of rocking chairs. By the way, a rocking chair is a chair where when you sit in it, you can rock back and forth. So Salah has the next question. Salah Abid says, in Saudi Arabia, we have a council for women and a council for men out of respect for the privacy of each sex and a separate toilet for each department. You know, if we had a separate bathroom for the girls in the house and for the guys, I think Jen and the girls would like that. That's cool. Thank you very much for letting me know that, Salah. That would be really awesome. Let's see here. Next question is from Valera Kiev. Hi, Bob. How many bathrooms do you have in the house? Is it a single place where you can be alone and relax? Where do you get running water from? Okay, so we have 2 bathrooms in our house. That might sound like a lot to some of you. I know some of you have 1 bathroom. We have 2 bathrooms. In many houses now in Canada, there are 3 bathrooms. So usually there's a downstairs bathroom. If you have an upstairs, there's an upstairs bathroom. And then sometimes there's an ensuite. That means that the main bedroom of the house has a small bathroom attached to it. And where do we get our running water? So 2 places. When it rains, all the water from our roof, when it rains, goes into a big tank called a cistern. And that's the water that we use in our showers and in our toilets. And then we actually go to town to pick up drinking water because we live out in the country. If you lived in a town or city in Canada or the United States, you would have running water and it would just come automatically from the city through a pipe. But because we live out in the country, we do it a little bit differently. Henry from Taiwan says, hi, Teacher Bob. In Canada, if you have a large piece of old furniture you're going to throw away, how do you handle it? Is garbage sale common in Canada? Thank you. So, yes, 2 things happen. If it's really old, someone might want to take it and refinish it. And if you have really old furniture, it's called antique furniture. And then secondly, sometimes people have yard sales or garage sales. That's when you take stuff you don't need and you put it out on your lawn on a Saturday morning and people can come by and buy it from you. So very, very common. Hey, English Danny, Learn English channel is here. Hi, English Danny. Welcome. Good to see you. Let's see here. Next question is from Ruslan, and then we'll get back to the lesson. Ruslan says, hello, Teacher Bob. Thank you for your great lessons. What's the most popular material for decorating the walls in apartments in Canada? Paint. Definitely paint is the most common. All of the walls in our house are simply painted different colors. Some people do still use wallpaper. Paint is always in fashion or in style, and wallpaper is sometimes in style and then isn't, and then it's back in style and then it isn't. Hey, we don't have one of these rooms. By the way, I live in a modest size home. Some of the things I'm going to show you we don't have. A dining room is a special room where you eat. We don't have a dining room. We eat in our kitchen. So we have a fairly large kitchen that has an area where you can make and prepare food and an area where you can eat food. Let's see here. Yeah, Deekshanch, I think you're right. I think I did it in a story. I think I showed you guys some of that stuff in a story. What were we talking about again? I lost track here, but yes. Anyways, I'll show you how we collect rainwater someday too as well. Dining room is a special room for eating. And it of course has a dining room table. We're not really creative with our names in English. So it's a table in the room called the dining room. So we call it the dining room table. And then what do you think the chairs are called in a dining room? They're called dining room chairs. So it's the same picture you can see here. If people have a dining room, the table is usually a little bit fancier and the chairs are usually fancier. So usually people who have a little more money have a dining room. You might also have what we call a china cabinet. So this might be interesting for some of you from China. Originally, a long time ago, some of our really, really fancy plates and dishes and bowls and cups came from China. And in English, we started to call it fine china. That's what we called those kinds of things. And people might have a special cabinet where they keep those plates and cups because they only use their fine china when they have guests over. So we don't have this in our house, but people do in some places have a china cabinet. In our area of Canada, we sometimes call this a hutch as well. So, and then of course, every house has a bathroom. Remember, in Canada, we also call this a washroom. So if you are traveling in Canada, you can use either bathroom or washroom if you need to go to the washroom or go to the bathroom. In the United States, you would use bathroom or restroom and the other variations. But this is the place where you go if you need a shower or a bath, or if you need to go to the bathroom. So in a bathroom, you will find a toilet. Again, in our house, we have 2 bathrooms. Our one bathroom, though, is actually a combination between a bathroom and a laundry room, but I'll talk about that in a sec. But our upstairs bathroom has a toilet. It has a tub or bathtub. This is not our tub. We do not have a tub that looks this cool or fancy, but a bathroom usually has a tub. We don't often say bathtub, we just say tub. You know, oh, I need to have a bath. I'm gonna have a bath in the tub. I don't know why we say it that way. And then our upstairs bathroom also has a sink. So a sink is a place where you can wash your hands. It's a place where you can shave. It's a place where you can brush your teeth. It's a place where it always has a mirror where you can do your hair or check your hair. This is me curling my hair. That's what this means, I guess. But definitely every bathroom has a sink as well. So those are the 3 main components. There might be a few other things in there. There's usually a closet. Sometimes we call it a linen closet. There might be a scale that you can step on to weigh yourself. And then our downstairs bathroom has a toilet and a shower, okay? It has a sink, a toilet, and a shower. It doesn't have a tub. Because our downstairs bathroom, by the way, a shower is a place where you stand when you want to wash off. Our downstairs bathroom is also our laundry room. Some people have a separate laundry room, but our downstairs bathroom, again, has a sink, it has a shower, it has a toilet. So you can take a shower in our downstairs bathroom. So if I need a shower, I can take a shower. After you take a shower, you dry off with a towel. But also in our laundry room, we have a washer and dryer that you can use to wash your clothes. That's pretty common in farmhouses. So the house I live in, because I'm on a farm, is called a farmhouse. There's nothing that different about a farmhouse, except sometimes the kitchens are bigger and your downstairs bathroom is also usually a laundry room. Although this can be pretty common in other houses as well. Let me jump back to the questions, everybody, before there are too many of them. And we will go with Yevhan says, hello, Teacher Bob. How are you doing? Thanks for the lesson. My question is, what kinds of furniture are made in Canada? Do you have the Canadian furniture at your home? So many kinds of furniture are made in Canada. I think because we have so many trees, we do make a lot of wooden furniture. So the chair I'm sitting on, this chair here, is made in Canada. A lot of the furniture in our house is made in Canada. Some of our furniture is made in other places because some furniture is from IKEA. And IKEA is a large furniture company from Sweden, although some of their furniture is manufactured in some of your countries. I know we have IKEA furniture that's made in China. We have IKEA furniture that's made in Thailand. So there's just a lot of furniture that we have. So a lot is made in Canada, but some is made from other parts of the world. Let's see here. I'm going to skip questions that aren't related to the topic, so sorry about that. Let's see. I'm going to change a word here. I'm just going to fix this one for a sec. So this is from Chico. Hello, Bob. Do you have fireplace? We have a wood stove. So we do have a place where we can burn wood in the winter. And then the second question is, how much does it cost to pump out a septic tank in Canada? So when we flush our toilets, it goes into a big tank that's buried in our yard, but we don't pump it out because we have what's called a septic bed. So as the waste from our house is digested by bacteria, it goes out underneath our lawn and the grass uses it as fertilizer. Look up septic bed and septic tank if you're interested in that process. It's pretty cool. It's unique to houses in the country though. In the city, when you flush your toilet, the waste goes into the city sewer system, okay? So we, because we are out in the country, have a septic tank. Thanks for the question, Chico. Let's see here. Next question. Oh, I didn't do this one, but that's good. Intan Dwai Lastari. Hi, Bob. I hope you and your loved ones are doing well. Bob, are patio and outside grill also furniture? Can you explain those to me? Thank you. So yes, I would say a barbecue or an outdoor grill is more of an appliance, but we certainly in Canada and in the United States have outdoor furniture. Many people have a patio or a deck that they can go out and use during the warmer seasons, and they usually have outdoor furniture. They might have a few lawn chairs, they might have a table out there, they might have a canopy or umbrella to cover things, but definitely we do have outdoor furniture. The next question is from Alina. Hi, Teacher Bob. Is there a superstition in Canada that you shouldn't put your bed so that you sleep with your legs towards the door? In Russia, some people remember it. No, I don't think we have that superstition. I think we sleep in every direction possible, for sure. Next question is from Alan. Hi, Bob. Here from Brazil. What's your favorite room in the house? I think my favorite room in the house is this room right here where I work on my computer, and sometimes I will watch shows on my computer behind me. So this corner of the house is my favorite. You would call this my home office or my study, although it's just in the corner of our living room. I will show you that someday. Let's see, next question. Riley, hi Bob, could you give a general picture of used furniture market in your town, such as quality and the price? So a couch or sofa that you would find in a living room is probably between $700 and $1,000 new, and you could probably find one used online for about $300 or $400 or less. Most used furniture is sold on Facebook. Usually there's a Facebook group for used furniture, or on a website in Canada called Kijiji, which is kind of like an online classified ad where you can sell things that you have. So where were we? I should continue here. I just mentioned a living room. This is probably the second most common room in a house next to the kitchen. You could say this is the most common and this kitchen is second. I'm not sure, but a living room is a place where you relax. Okay, so at the end of the evening, there's usually really comfy places to sit. There's usually a couch or sofa. You might have learned that some people call this a Chesterfield. We don't in Canada call it that anymore, but a couch or sofa is a really nice chair that you can sit on or you can lay down on if you want. You will usually find a special kind of chair called a recliner or a lazy boy. That's another name for it. A recliner is a chair where when you sit in it, you can go back. I guess that would be the best word for it. You can recline and you can really relax. When I sit, I have a recliner. When I sit in it and when I put my feet up, I usually fall asleep. So it's not the best place for me to sit if I just want to relax for a bit, because I usually end up falling asleep and having a nap. We also have a funny little couch. If a couch only has 2 seats, we call it a love seat. It's kind of a funny name for it. I think because the 2 people can sit close together on it. It's kind of a funny name. I didn't really think of this till I was putting this lesson together. But we have a small couch. If you have a couch where only 2 people can sit, we sometimes call it a love seat. You can also still just call it a couch, by the way. And then usually in a living room, you will have a coffee table as well. A coffee table is a very low table. It usually has a few books on it, and it usually has what these are called coasters. So if you bring a cup of tea to your living room, you usually put it on a coaster or a saucer underneath the mug or the cup. So a coffee table might have coffee table books on it. There's actually a kind of book. Usually it's a book with lots of pictures in it. But definitely there are coffee tables. We have a coffee table in our living room and also in our family room. And I should talk about that for a sec. Living rooms have a number of different names. You can call it a living room. You can call it a family room. Some people call their second living room a den. In our home, we have a living room, and we also have what we call a family room. So we have 2 different rooms where you can sit and where you can relax. Let's see here. You might also find a special kind of table called an end table. So this is a small table that goes beside a couch. So it's usually just a spot. So if you're sitting on your couch and there's an end table, you can set your mug of tea or coffee down on the end table. It's just a handy place to put something if you need to. So you will sometimes find an end table as well. Let me find, did Joey have a recliner on Friends? Is that what we're talking about? Yeah, probably. I have not watched Friends for a while. I should rewatch it sometimes. Let's see here. Grace blossomed. Hi, blossomed. Hi, Grace. Hello, Bob. I hope you're well. This is sort of related to furniture. What does it mean to say someone lies like a rug? Thanks. And will Sean be posting after this? I'm not sure. I know Sean is active again. I have not connected with him yet, but Sean is Sean from Free 99 English, but I will connect with him and see what his schedule is. I know Sean from Free 99 English has been doing 3 videos a week. He does a video on Monday or a live stream on Monday. He does a Wednesday video and a Friday. That's his new schedule. He just started up again about a week and a half ago. So check out his channel at some point. But a rug lies on the ground. So if someone tells lies, sometimes you say they lie like a rug. It's kind of what we call a play on words. Let's see here. Shahul has the next question, or just statement. Shahul says, I never known that furniture is an uncountable noun until I had started learning English seriously recently. Very cool. Thanks for letting us know that. Shang has the next question, which isn't really a question. He says, hi, Bob. Hi, Shang. Israel says, Israel, it's not really related to furniture or rooms. Igor says, how much taxes do you pay for your property? So we have property tax in Canada. When you own a house, you have to pay property tax. My property, it costs us about $3,000 per year in tax to live here. So even though I own my house, actually I have a mortgage, so I'm paying off my house right now. So I got a loan from the bank to buy this house, and that's called a mortgage. So I'm still paying off my mortgage. So technically I own the house, but the bank and I kind of own it together until I'm done paying it off. But outside of my mortgage payment, I have to pay property tax. In Canada, you pay property tax on a property. I'm going to answer Israel's question. Israel says, greetings from Mexico. What does odd mean? And what's the meaning of what have you been up to? Thanks a lot. So if you say, what have you been up to? It's the same as saying, what have you been doing lately? Sorry, this is not a furniture question or having to do with rooms. And odd simply means different or strange. Let me clean up my questions here and we will get back to the lesson. Let's see here. Hi, Bob. I have a question. There is an armchair that can wobble straight and back with rails. Yes, that is called a rocking chair. And they're usually chairs with, it's usually an armchair that rocks back and forth. Yes, that is what that is called. Hey, folks, I'm going to just give me a second here. I'm going to keep going with the lesson. I want to make sure we get this lesson done. We also have a room called a bedroom. This is a room where you sleep. So usually when I'm tired, I go to bed. Sometimes I read in bed when I go to bed, but you usually have a bed in a bedroom, and it usually has sheets and blankets. So sheets are the thin blanket on a bed, and then blankets are the thicker one. Usually it has 1 or 2 pillows. There are different size beds in Canada. There's a twin, a double, a full, a queen, and a king size bed. I think I got those all right. So a twin bed is actually the smallest bed. I think a long time ago there used to be something called a single bed, but we don't have those very much anymore. So queen size bed. So a bedroom is a place where you sleep, and it's a place where other things happen that I won't talk about. I really need to do a video someday on love and all that, but I'm not sure how to do it in a nice way. So a bedroom is where you sleep, and a bedroom is where other things sometimes happen. That's all I'll say about that one. A bed is what you sleep on. Of course, I just talked about that. Sometimes a bed will have a headboard. That's a board at the top of the bed, and this is your mattress. The bottom piece in Canada and in the United States we call a box spring. So there's usually 2 parts to a bed in North America. A box spring is like the hard part, and then on top there's the mattress, which is softer and more comfortable. Beside a bed, you will usually have a nightstand. A nightstand or a night table is a small table beside a bed. Usually you have a lamp, and sometimes you'll have your alarm clock here. So when I go to bed, I usually set my alarm clock, which is on my nightstand. By the way, if you watch the daily routine, like Learn English About Your Daily Routine with Bob the Canadian, wow, that was long. I do show you my, I do wake up in that video, the daily routine. So you see my alarm clock. So I do have a nightstand. You can call it a night table or a nightstand. Usually a bedroom has a dresser or a chest of drawers. We use this word the most in Canada. So a dresser is a tall piece of furniture that has all different drawers in it, and this is where you would keep your clothes, okay? So you would keep your socks, your underwear, maybe your t-shirts, all of the clothes that you can fold up to store, you would keep in a dresser. If they are nicer shirts with collars, you would probably hang them up in a closet on a coat hanger. So I didn't mention that, but bedrooms usually have a closet as well. And Jen and I have one closet in our bedroom, and sometimes we fight a little bit about who gets to keep what items in the closet. So I keep all of my collared shirts. So all of the shirts with collars I put on coat hangers, and I hang them in the closet in my room. Let me just flip over here for a sec. I am going to flip the chat right now to members only. So members, you can ask questions directly in the chat. I do want to thank all of my members, and I just want to mention that supporting me is quite helpful. If you click the join button and you decide to support my channel, first of all, thank you very much. Secondly, I'm not doing it to be exclusive. My plan is that right now I work full time and I make YouTube videos, and I am a very, very busy person. What memberships allow me to do is this fall, instead of teaching full time, I hope to teach only 80%. So at my full-time job, I hope to teach just a little bit less, because right now, between teaching full-time and making YouTube videos, I'm way too busy. So thank you to all my members. You are helping me to get on my way to working a little less and being able to focus on YouTube a little more. So for those of you that, I'll stop talking about it now, but for those of you that aren't members, please don't be annoyed with the members. They are helping you keep me healthy, which is awesome in the long run. Let's see. English Danny says, yes, Bob, your daily routine videos were great. Vitaly says, do you have a basement with all those scary things? Yes, we have a basement. I'll talk about it in just a little bit, Vitaly. Learn American English with this guy says, pivot. Yeah. Panthera Nori. Hi, Bob. Do you use the word airlock as a kind of forum in production halls or in bigger office buildings? No. We only use the word airlock when we're talking about spaceships or space stations. We don't use airlock for buildings at all. Let's see here. Alina says, Teacher Bob, what makes a comfortable and cozy house for you? If it's warm in the winter and cool in the summer. So it's nice when the furnace works and the house is warm, and it's nice when the air conditioning works. Let's see here. Rachel Ting says, hi, Bob the Canadian. I'm late. Sorry about that, Rachel. Panthera Nori, wow, congratulations, Teacher Bob. English Danny says, super busy, Bob. Yes, I'm a busy guy. I don't mind, though. I like being busy, but it's getting a little bit too busy. So I had to think about, should I do less YouTube or should I work less? So starting in September, I thought, no, I really, really like doing YouTube. So in September, hopefully I can work a bit less and keep doing YouTube really, really well, because this is fun. Some people have a room called a guest room. It's really just an extra bedroom. We don't have a guest room right now because we have 5 kids. So all the bedrooms in our house, all the bedrooms are full. But someday, when all of the kids move out, one of the kids' bedrooms we will turn into a guest room. A guest room is just a room with a bed, maybe a couple of chairs, and it's a place where people can stay if they come to visit. So right now, if we have guests, we have to close the doors on our living room, and they have to use the living room if they want to sleep over. But in the future, when our children are older and they move out, we might turn one of their bedrooms into a guest room, so that if Jen's parents visit, or if someone from far away visits, they can sleep in the guest room at our house. So we don't have one right now. Let's see here. Julia says, great lessons. What is the difference between couch and sofa? They are the same thing. The more common word for me is couch. I just use the word couch. But if you use the word sofa, people will know what you're talking about. Alina, oh, I see. And how about houseplants? Are there a lot of them in your house? We have some houseplants, but not as many as you would think. You would think because Jen loves growing things, we would have more, but we don't. Let's see here. Hunter Culture. Hello, Teacher Bob. Do you have a fireplace in the living room? We have a wood stove, which I will show you someday. It's a bit of, I'm looking at it right now. It's a bit of a mess. It's on the far side of the room. A wood stove is a black stove that you can have a fire in. Let's see here. Learn American English with this guy. I'm very interested in the love video you alluded to earlier. Please title it Bob the Canadian After Dark. Yeah. You know, I have had a lot of requests to, I'll just be honest, to make a video about how to talk about love and dating and sex in English, and I've not made that video yet. It's a delicate subject. We'll see. Let's see. Vitaly Smirnov, do you have a cabinet to Narnia? No, we do not have what you would call a wardrobe. And it doesn't go to Narnia. But we do have a basement, Vitaly, which you mentioned earlier. In Canada, in some provinces, houses have a basement. This is the lower part of the house, which is below the ground, okay? So we have the main level of the house, we have an upstairs, we also have a basement. In some parts of North America, houses don't have basements because the ground is too hard or there's lots of rock. But in most areas of Canada and the United States, a house will have a basement. So a basement can be one of two things. This is an unfinished basement. You can see all of the wood. A lot of houses in Canada have unfinished basements. When you buy a brand new house in Canada, many times the house is finished and the basement looks like this. So we just say, oh, do you have a finished or unfinished basement? This is a finished basement. You can see the stairs coming down. These we would call these the basement stairs. And it looks like in this picture, they turned their basement into what we would call a family room or rec room or den. So they have some couches and stuff. So basement is the entire floor of the house that is under the ground or below ground. Usually there are windows. We call them basement windows because The top part of the basement does stick out of the ground a little bit. In fact, it has to in Canada because there must be windows in case there's a fire. But basements are the huge area underneath the house. Let's see here. Madi has the next question. What is the size of a house in Canada? So we use square footage, Madi. So houses in Canada are about 2,000 square feet. I don't know what that is in square meters, but that's what it is. Let's see here, sort through down to the next question. I see Learn American English with this guy and English Danny Learn English channel both having a chat. It's awesome. I love seeing English chat from native English speakers in the chat. Lolly, do you have a safe in your house? I don't mean I am going to rob you. I was about to say, do we have a safe? No, we actually have, in Canada at the bank, you can get a safety deposit box. So if you have valuable things, you can actually keep them in the bank. So we don't have a safe in our house. We would like to get a safe though, not for money or valuables, but for important documents. Because, so by the way, a safe is something that, you're like, you've all seen movies, right? Where you turn the lock and then the door opens and then there's all money in the safe. So we don't have one, but we would like to have a fireproof safe someday. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm just trying to make sure. Norma has the next question. I wanted to know whether there is a sitting room in Canada. So some people do call one of their rooms a sitting room. Usually if they have one or two rooms that they're using for having tea with guests or something like that, they might create a sitting room. But generally we don't use that word. Let's see here. Trying to separate the conversation from the questions in the chat right now. R. Kim, hello Bob, my name is Regina Kim from South Korea. This is my second time to join the live stream. Hi Regina Kim. I am glad to be here with other people. Thank you for your lessons as always. No problem. Let's see here. Lolly says, thanks, no problem, Lolly. Don't come and rob my house, Lolly. Oscar's quite vicious, by the way. Let's see here. How do you call the glass in your windows? Glazing. We simply call it glass, okay? So my windows have glass in them. In some places they would call it glazing, but right now I'm pointing at the window. The window here has glass in it, so that's what we would call it. And in Canada, the windows have more than one pane of glass. So there's usually two or sometimes three, so that the window has a higher insulating value. Because it's so cold here, we don't want to lose our heat through our windows. So that's what we have. Let me jump to the questions. Next question is from Nori. Hello, Teacher Bob. What do you call the material that is put on after you're done with the masonry and plaster but before painting? Is it priming? It's so hard to find. So in Canada and in most parts of North America, we put a board on the wall called drywall, and then on top of the drywall they put a coat. I can't remember the name of it. I want to call it mudding, but they put on tape, and they put on a white substance that dries, and then they put on a kind of paint called primer, and then they put on the actual paint. So I'm not an expert on it, although when I was younger I did have a job where I did put up drywall, but that is the process. Let's see here. Learn American English with this guy. I don't think Mr. Bob has a panic room or a safe house. No. So a panic room is what really, really rich people have in their houses. In case someone breaks in, they can go in the panic room and lock it. I do not have a panic room. So Panthera Nori, glass pane isn't a word for it. So I can say that my windows have glass in them. I can say that they have panes of glass in them. It means basically the same thing. So this window has two panes of glass, or I could say this window has a piece of glass in the top and a piece in the bottom. But certainly the word pane is used when you're talking about windows. Let me get to the next question. Simbat from Kazakhstan. Hello, Bob. How much is it to rent a small apartment in your town? So let me correct something here. The question, how much is renting out a small apartment, means that you own the apartment and you are going to have someone else rent it from you. If you say how much is it to rent a small apartment, it means that you want to rent an apartment. So I would say a small apartment is about $900 a month. That would be on the cheap side, I think. Hand Turk. In Turkey, we have a guest room different from the one in Canada. It doesn't have bed or wardrobe. It is like a living room, specially furnished for guests. Do you have a room like that? No, we do not have a room like that. Panthera Nori, thank you so much, Teacher Bob. I'm sorry for these kind of special questions. Just I have to try to use these words in my professional area. Thank you. You helped a lot. It's no problem. You can ask any question that that you want. Hey, I'm going to flip the chat back and I'm going to try and finish this lesson before we run out of time. So I might go a little quicker now. Thanks again to all my members. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you that you decided to click that join button. For those of you that are new here, if you want to subscribe, that would be good as well. And give me a thumbs up if this video is helping you. I mentioned this earlier. Many houses have an office or a study. This is a place where there's usually an area to work quietly. So if I need to pay the bills, I usually go to my office and I sit in my office and I pay the bills. If I need to do my taxes, or if I need to get my papers in order to file my taxes, I go to my office. So an office is kind of a place to do business in the home. Sometimes when I'm on the phone, I will go to my office because it's a little bit quieter. So even though my office is in the corner of a room, this is where I go to do business type work. In my office, I have a desk. Usually your desk will have a couple drawers. You can see mine does not, but you will usually have a desk with a computer on it in an office. You will most likely have, if you still have a phone, like the kind of phone that comes from the phone company, you might have that in your office, but most of us just have cell phones now. So yeah, Blossom says, I see some postcards behind you, good vibes. I have not been to the post office. I went yesterday to pick up my postcards, but the post office closed early, so I have not picked up postcards for 4 weeks. I'm sorry to those of you that sent me a postcard. I haven't got it yet. But you will have a desk. The chair that you will find in an office is called an office chair. It usually has wheels, and it sometimes has like a comfy area to sit on, not like Bob the Canadian's wooden chair. Usually an office chair is a little more comfortable than that. I do have an office chair, by the way. It's right over there. Let me show you. My office chair looks like this. So you can see it has wheels and it leans back, but it's not a very good chair to sit on when I'm doing a live lesson because I end up going like this and moving around too much. Let me jump to the questions again. So the question is from J.H. Kim. Hi Bob, how much land area how much land is your house on? So I live on a farm. So it's many acres. It's actually 65 acres. We use acres in Canada. So it's quite a big piece of land, but it is a farm, okay? Most houses in Canada are not on big pieces of property. Usually they're on a very small lot, like maybe a 1/4 acre or smaller. So usually people have a house in town and they have a small backyard and a small front yard, and that's about it. Become a member to help Teacher Bob with a new fancy chair. No, I like my old chair, Vitaly. I appreciate the sentiment, but I kind of like it. Next question. Matthias Gabriel, hi teacher, can you explain the difference between bathroom, washroom, restroom, and wash basin? So in Canada, we would call a bathroom and washroom, we would use the same name, bathroom, washroom. Restroom, we usually use for a place in a restaurant where you can go to the bathroom. Deekshanch says they use acres in India too. Yeah, I think us people living in countries where the British were involved at some point use acres for sure. Anyways, I would say that if you, in a house, the place where there is a toilet, you would call bathroom, if you're in the United States. If you're in Canada, you can call it bathroom or washroom. If you are in a restaurant, you might call it a restroom, although you could also call it a bathroom. They're fairly interchangeable for sure. Let's see here. Teacher Bob can be so funny, even if we are talking only about chairs. Yeah, thanks, Panthera. I try to be as funny as possible. I'm also trying to go fast, and I don't know why. I have lots of time here. So let's see here. Let me find the next question. So, Hussein Kurdi, what is the difference between household and furniture? So the household is just the place. Like it can also refer to the people, by the way. So in our household, we have lots of furniture. That's how I would say it. We don't use the word household much, by the way, but it kind of refers to the whole place and the people who live there. And furniture is simply the things you sit on, the things that you lay down on, and those kinds of things. Let's see here. Next question. So Alexander Danielson, hi Bob, thanks for the lesson. I wonder what do you call the item in the kitchen that absorbs steam when you cook? It is usually attached above the stove. So we call it we basically call it the kitchen fan. You can call it the hood or the range hood, but above our stove, there is a place where all of the cooking steam goes, and there's a fan that sucks it outside. So it's very, very handy to have that. Let's see here. Harry from Indonesia has no question, just says, I hope you have a great day. I don't have any questions today, but I just want to say thank you because all of your videos help me to learn English. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Norma has the next question. Here we usually have a sitting room to read, chat, and watch TV. Is it the same in Canada? We would call it a living room. Definitely a living room, or like I said earlier, a rec room. That's short for recreation, by the way. Living room, rec room, family room, or den. Let's see here. Ensar has a quick question here about Corona. Says, hi Bob from Turkey. How is Corona going? Be healthy. We have flattened our curve in Ontario, Canada, but it won't go down. We're waiting for it to go down. Let's see here. Ellen has the next question. Hi Bob, do you have any idea why the price of condo house are so expensive compared to the USA? It is expensive to live in Canada. Houses are more expensive than in the United States, especially in our large cities. I'm not sure why. I wish they were cheaper, but they are not. Mahmoud has the next question. What kinds of houses are there in Canada? So we have a number of different kinds of houses. We have what's called a detached home, which is a single home with no other houses connected to it. We have what are called townhouses, which are a whole bunch of houses connected together, sometimes 6 or 8 houses where they share a wall. And then we, of course, have mansions where rich people live and those kinds of things. And there's apartments that you can rent. That's just a small, basically a small living space in a building, an apartment building, or you can buy a condo. Those are the different ones. Hey, let's finish this lesson off. This is not a room in the house, but most North American homes have a garage. I think in Britain they say garage. I don't want to say it. In Canada we say garage, okay? In most of North America, people have a garage. If you are in Michigan, I think people call it a garage, but we call it a garage. Maybe, I know Brent's from Maine, but maybe he can help us with pronunciation. We call this a garage. It has a garage door. That's a door that goes up. And usually people have a spot where they can put their car or van inside. It's called a garage. Usually at the back of a garage, you will have shelves. So in our garage, we have a garage. In our garage, we have a lot of shelves. And the shelves are places where you can store things that you don't need for that season. So we put our bikes in the garage in the winter. We put some of our winter clothes, we actually hang our winter coats in the garage in the winter. We usually have a spot where you can take off your boots in the winter in the garage. So a garage is not just for your car, it's also a place where you can keep things that you don't need. We use our garage a little bit like an entrance in the winter. Sometimes we come in through the garage. So we leave our big winter boots in the garage instead of bringing them in the house. And then many people in their garage will have a workbench where they can keep their tools. So a garage normally used for cars. Some people just use their garage to keep junk. They keep a lot of stuff in their garage that they don't need. In English, we would say that you have stuff that you need to get rid of, but you just don't get around to it. So, for instance, in our garage, we have a few things that we need to just give away or sell. We have a few pieces of furniture we don't use. We have a couple old computers. So a lot of people have things in their garage that they should get rid of, that they need to get rid of, but they just haven't found the time to do that. So let me just check for questions, people. One last question from Mr. Hyde. His question is, what do you call pieces of furniture where you keep folded t-shirts, folded pants, etc.? We call that a dresser. I think I could find that back quickly here. There it is. So we call that a dresser. So if you go in my bedroom, there's a dresser, and I have a sock drawer where I keep my socks. I have an underwear drawer where I keep my underwear. I have a t-shirt drawer where I keep my t-shirts. But yes, this is where you would keep things that you can fold. We would call it a dresser. Hey, I want to say thanks to everybody who is here. I want to thank all of my regulars, people like Gaga and Deekshanch. I want to thank all of my members who have joined to support me, people like Panthera Nori and Vitali. I can't name all of you. Lolly. If I start naming all of you, I'll feel bad because I'll miss some of you. But thank you for being members. Thank you for clicking that join button and deciding to support me. By the way, if you become a member, there are a few perks. You get an extra video once a week. You get a green name during the live stream and a little crown and those kinds of things. But thanks for being here. If you're new here, don't forget to click the subscribe button. That's free. New video lesson every Tuesday, new live stream every Friday morning like this one. There will be another live lesson. By the way, if you didn't watch this past week's video, I'm linking it in the chat. I did a video about marriage and Jen was in it. If you want to meet Jen, she was in it. It's a 26-minute video, but go have a look at that if you are interested. It was a lot of fun to make. And of course, if you do want to become a member, the link is in the chat as well. I do want to say thank you again for all of you being here. I think the most important thing is I hope you learned just a little bit more English today. Live lesson tomorrow at 11 a.m. As my voice cracks a little bit. I'm getting emotional. That's what's happening. No, I'm not. I'll see you tomorrow. It was great to do this. I'm going to push the stop button now. Oh, thanks to Todd and Dave. By the way, they are awesome. They are here every week, every Friday and every Saturday, and they help keep the chat in order, and that is awesome for me and it's awesome for you. So thanks to Todd and Dave as well. Bye everybody. Have a good weekend. I'll see some of you tomorrow in the next live